Thank you.
Absolutely.
When I first heard of the RhodeMap Rhode Island issue, the passions through our state were quite inflamed, and frankly, I was skeptical of the professed implications. As I dug in and researched the issues, I came to the conclusion that our statutory framework, coupled with the adoption of RhodeMap Rhode Island into the state guide plan, pose substantial implications for our system of local sovereignty, land use, and planning. And Mr. Chairman, I'll be concise because the issues are complex. The State Planning Council is an executive department within the Department of Administration. It is empowered to adopt the state guide plan, which has significant legal implications for our localities. The state guide plan is authorized by Title 42, 1110. And pursuant to 45-22.2, the Comprehensive Planning and Land Use Act, our local comprehensive plans must be consistent with the goals and policies as laid out in the state guide plan. And our zoning ordinances must be consistent with our comprehensive plans. Ergo, the state guide plan governs our local planning and zoning. Our bills all focus on this interplay between the state guide plan in Title 42 and local comprehensive permits in Title 45. The adoption of RhodeMap Rhode Island as an official element of the state guide plan by virtue of the State Planning Council's meeting and vote on December 11th, 2014, created a heightened level of concern at its impact on local communities that are represented by the sponsors of this package of legislation. And RhodeMap is a large document with many aspects, but the two that are most concerning are the ones that bring us here today. And that are its dictates regarding zoning and housing developments that may not be currently permitted in our various localities and towns. And I'll read a direct quote from RhodeMap. The adoption of mixed-use development zoning, which incorporates village-like amenities, services, and housing options for mixed age, mixed income residential population, and includes by right multifamily and other denser housing models for rural and suburban centers. In effect, RhodeMap seeks to usurp local control of these key planning issues. Now, over the years, we've dealt with separation of powers in this building. There's been talk outside of this building and inside about the implications of executive power and legislative power. In effect, the statutory framework we have vests legislative powers in the executive branch. It vests these key planning decisions, which are inherently legislative, in the statewide planning council. And I think we need to be very careful when we vest these legislative powers in the executive branch. As I said, our Comprehensive Planning and Land Use Act vests some of this legislative authority in the Planning Council by allowing the state guide plan to have a controlling effect over our local comprehensive plans. And it's fair to say that over the years, many people have paid little attention to the authority and activity of the statewide Planning Council. But because of RhodeMap Rhode Island and its infringement on this legislative prerogative, in my humble opinion, people are paying attention throughout the state. And our concerns about the infringement about municipal sovereignty are only amplified by the documents that were signed by the Division of Planning to obtain money from the HUD, Housing and Urban Development. By accepting grant money, $1.9 million, from HUD to develop RhodeMap Rhode Island, and signing HUD's Certificate of Consistency with Sustainable Communities Planning and Implementation, agreeing to abide by HUD's livability principles, the director of the Division of Planning may conceivably have bound our state to HUD mandates and future HUD mandates. The package of bills before you was developed first and foremost in response to our constituents' significant and legitimate concerns, and each bill attacks the problem differently. We're not wedded to any approach, and we simply present a package of bills that has numerous ways of dealing with this problem, and hope to work with the committee to find and refine the best approach to protect local sovereignty. My bill 5713 simply reasserts the legislature's province over this inherently legislative act. It requires that the state guide plan and any changes thereto which control our local comprehensive plans be approved by the legislature before there is any legal effect. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative. Which representative would like to speak next? Representative Roberts.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. H 6041 amends a section in current law contained in Chapter 45-22.2 that specifies required content that local comprehensive plans must abide by. Here's where we are today. In Rhode Island general law specifies the goals and policies that local comprehensive plans must have for its future growth and development, and that the goals and policies of the plan shall be consistent with the goals and intent of this chapter and embody the goals and policies of the state guide plan. Here's what H 6041 amends. Provides cities and towns with a choice that they may embody the goals and policies of the state guide plan. Rhode Island general law specifies the housing requirements that must be contained in local comprehensive plans that includes references to areas that are suitable for future housing development or rehabilitation. It acknowledges and specifies the affordable housing programs and acts specified in various areas of statute as passed by the General Assembly. Here's what 6041 adds to this section. It provides our cities and towns with the option to opt out of any provision contained in the state guide plan relating to affordable housing programs and land use provisions relating to affordable housing. The additional language does not adversely impact existing affordable housing programs, related land use, acts, etc., that have been expressly passed into law by the General Assembly. The bottom line of H 6041 provides the option for each city and town to decline to comply with provisions contained in the state guide plan that relate to affordable housing programs, including land use provisions. It provides an opt-out for municipalities, thereby providing a choice. Also, back in January, Go Local Prov, in January 2015, the executive director of the Rhode Island League of Cities and Towns, who voted for the adoption of RhodeMap in December, said that the league would support legislation to allow cities and towns who don't want to take part to opt out.
Thank you, Representative. Who would like to speak next? Representative Costa.
Thank you, Chairman.